Well, speaking of trash talking, there was a report, and there have been several reports now. A new report that came out today from Vincent Goodwill of Yahoo Sports. That's our guy. We will have him on in the third hour of the show, so you definitely want to keep it locked.
Yep.
Rob's ex-nephew as well.
That's right.
But does a great job for Yahoo Sports.
He does.
He had a very insightful story with a lot of behind-the-scenes reporting about the beef between James Harden and Chris Paul, and he presented it that it's beyond repair. He says that both players have essentially asked to be traded. Chris Paul has gone to management, asked to be traded. James Harden has said it's him or me. Now, in fairness, Daryl Morey, the GM, has denied it. We believe Chris Paul has said that's news to me on social media.
Right. He didn't directly deny it, but by saying that, he's saying, I don't know about what he's talking about.
That could be that Harden said him or me. That could be any little part of the story that he
Exactly.
But we had to put that out there. Vince is a good reporter. I'm sure he's not making this stuff up. And this is a conversation, Rob. Look, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. When it comes to style of play, if Chris Paul wants more ball movement, more player movement, not for the offense to be as bogged down and Harden-centric as it has been, I'm totally with him. I agree with Chris on that from that standpoint. A one-man show is not going to win an NBA championship. They've got to get more ball and player movement in that offense. Now, if you're asking me who am I picking, if Harden's him or me is really true, I'm sorry, Chris. I'm picking James Harden.
Every day, all day, I don't even know who would not make that decision if you had to pick.
And here's the thing. With all due respect, and I say that seriously, not just like let me throw that out there. With all due respect to Chris Paul, who will be a first ballot Hall of Famer, who is an all-time great point guard, if this demand for a trade is true, I mean, the Houston Rockets would drive him to not the airport, to the next destination.
Right. We don't even have to call get you a plane ticket. Wait a minute, are you going to go to Utah? Or
we're driving you. If you get traded to Toronto, we're driving you there. We're going through customs.
We want to make sure you get there.
Right. Like
we don't
that, Chris, I'm sorry, and I said this before they signed him, that they knew they had doubts. They didn't really want to do it. But obviously there was some type of wink-wink deal, some type of handshake agreement when he agreed to demand the trade from the Clippers to go to Houston. And to a certain degree, right, I don't feel sorry for Chris. You put yourself in this situation. They were Harden-centric when you decided to go there.
Right. Nothing changed. So you can't act like this is brand new. Right. This is how he plays. You signed that big contract. You know what's coming. $38 million this coming year, $41 the next year, $44 the next year. If it was all about playing the right way and doing all that, you didn't have to come to Houston because you already know what they were serving, right?
James Harden
all day, every day.
For the appetizer, the entree, the dessert. James Harden. Now, he's a great enough player, Chris, that maybe thought things were going to be different. And I have marveled, especially this year, as watching him like, man, he really turned himself into a role player. He's playing like a two guard to try to win a ring. So I give him credit for that. But
because it's hard to take a step back.
Oh, yeah. Your game is your game. And his game is being the ball-dominant point guard, and that's going to get him in the Hall of Fame. So I give him credit for switching his style. And I understand he's saying, look, we've done it 2 years. It hasn't worked. Let's go to a more inclusive offense. Here's the thing, too, that people need to understand. And I hope all of these stars and even a few superstars, but really the stars in the NBA are listening. Hear me well. All of this, wanderlust, all of this, the grass is always greener. Oh, it's greener for a few guys. A LeBron James can go anywhere and he's going to get his. A Kevin Durant, a Kawhi Leonard, they can go anywhere and they're going to get theirs. They're going to be the superstars of the team. But most and I'm talking about even stars, some guys need to stay where they're at because maybe the system is geared toward you, or you just got such a presence in the franchise, or for whatever reason, it's not going to be the same elsewhere, and you're not going to be as good. Exhibit A, Dwight Howard. I think he ruined his career by leaving Orlando. Exhibit B.
I don't doubt that for 1 second. Because it went all the way downhill. Don't forget, he got to an NBA Finals with that team. They had a nice team going. They knocked off LeBron. If you remember, that was supposed to be the Kobe-LeBron Finals.
Yep.
And Dwight Howard and that Magic team knocked off LeBron. I'll never forget that. He was on his way right there.
Every year he was in the top 5 MVP voting.
He was on his way.
And people think, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but he does have the credentials. Most people most experts, if you will, think he's a Hall of Famer based essentially solely on what he did in Orlando. Because every place he's gone has gotten worse and worse and worse. And now he might not even be able to find a job this year. Okay, but Carmelo Anthony demanded his way out of a good Denver team to go to New York. It helped his celebrity, but it certainly didn't help him basketball-wise. Chris Paul now. He should have stayed with the Clippers.
Look at what
he really should have stayed with the Clippers.
Look at what that team did last year.
Yeah, well, and let's face it, they went out in the first round.
Right.
And with Chris, they were getting there the second round. That's the power of expectations. But if they trade Blake and bring in, maybe they bring in the pieces around you to make you a better team around Chris Paul. But he should have stayed with the Clippers. There are so many instances of guys thinking, forcing their way out of places, and it doesn't work. So all of you free agents who have a good thing, be careful. Be careful. I mean, he's still a superstar, but Rob, can I throw Kyrie in there, at least for now? I mean, I get it. He butted heads with LeBron, but it certainly didn't work out in Boston. So guys have to be careful about where you want to go because it can ruin some of your careers. Darren Williams. Remember Darren Williams was on a Hall of Fame track.
Right. Back in Utah. And he wound up going to the Nets. And they had a little success, but it wasn't. Actually, by the time he left, people didn't look at Darren Williams the same way. They were dogging him.
They couldn't get rid of him fast enough.
Yeah.
Now, some of it was injuries, but had he stayed in Utah,
never know.
He maybe would have been a Hall of Famer. It was him and Chris Paul were the best 2-point guards in the league.
No doubt about it.
So guys got to be careful. But I just think, look, this is how are they going to trade? Can you think of anybody?
No,
that would trade for Chris Paul?
You heard me just mention the money.
Say never, but
right. But I can't.
John Wall. That would be like would our problem for your problem?
Right. We'll give you our bad money, and you take. You know what I mean?
John Wall's might be even worse.
Yeah,
because he's injured. He's banged up.
You got an attitude issue.
He's not going to play next year, that's the first year of his 4-year extension.
Oh, God.
Oh,
that's how. Well, Ernie got fired. Ernie Grunfeld.
Yeah.
That probably had to happen with all that was going on. But he was there for a long time.
Yeah.
You know Ernie, though, right?
Oh, yeah, I love Ernie.
Yeah. But it was time.
It was definitely time.
It was definitely time.
I'm surprised he survived that long with some of those moves.
Bad.
So that's like Chris Paul, Rob, and we'll get Vince Goodwill on to talk about it. How do you think they handle this situation?
Let it blow over because there's nothing you really can do.
There's no way I'm getting rid of Harden.
No, there's no way. And also, there's no way that anybody's going to take Chris Paul. I just told you the money. The money is so astronomical. You're talking about that over
he played
40 million
58 games the last 2 years.
Just how some general manager is going to stand up, introduce Chris Paul in the press conference with the contract that and the money you got to pay? No way. Nobody who wants to keep a job.
The Lakers won't. I mean, LeBron's his guy. LeBron's always talked about wanting to play
I
with.
went to Whole Foods and one of our buddies over there, he's like, we're getting Chris Paul. I said, dude, I said, really? I said, do you know what the money is? And then when I said the money, he looked at me and goes, yeah, maybe not.
They could.
No, but they wouldn't get.
But I think LeBron, as much as he likes Chris, he's smarter than that. He's smarter than that.
You would hope so.
And you would hope Rob Pelinka or whoever, if LeBron is behind the scenes pushing for Chris, I don't think they're a good fit. But if he's behind the scenes pushing for Chris, then you got to still have somebody there to say no.
Well, he was pushing for Carmelo Anthony, and the Lakers never pulled. No. They said no. They didn't pull the trigger because
he didn't
Ty
fit.
Lue. You remember that?
Said no. Now, Chris, I've talked enough about, well, if LeBron could play off the ball, he's not going to play off the ball.
Can't teach you the old dog new tricks. He's not doing it.
He's not going to do it.
Because you talked about this earlier last season before he should just honestly
here. With AD, he should just be. I think LeBron should just be the point guard. Get a wicked shooter at the 2. Get, if you can get a Brook Lopez as a center, I know that's a big if, but I think LeBron should just run the point. And you don't have to call him that because he doesn't want to be called a point guard, but